This is a review for the Roborock S5 Max. The S5 Max's airflow was measured at 18 CFM. Its suction was measured at 0.36 kPa. In our carpet stress test, the S5 Max picked up all debris types very well. This robot has an average sized direct cleaning path, as its brushable compartment is an average width at 6.5 inches wide. However, the robot itself is an above average size with a diameter of 13.5 inches. And so, with the help of its side brush, very effectively pulling debris from the perimeter of the robot into its direct cleaning path, the overall cleaning path of this robot is fairly wide. The S5 Max used this wide cleaning path and repeated movement over the same areas to clean up very well in this test over time. In our Carpet Deep Clean test, the S5 Max picked up 6 grams of debris after 3 passes over an area of carpet embedded with 30 grams of fine debris. In our hard floor stress test, the S5 Max once again picked up all debris types very well. Again, it used its wide cleaning path and repeated movement over the same areas to clean up well in this test over time. Our hard floor stress test also demonstrates a weakness for the S5 Max, edge cleaning performance. As part of any particular cleaning cycle, the S5 Max passes by each edge of a room at least 2 times. This is exactly what the robot did during pickup testing. It passed by each edge once during the start of the run and once during the end of the run. The problem was that it didn't get close enough to these edges when passing by them, and so wasn't able to pick up debris right next to them very well. Compare the S5 Max's edge cleaning performance to that of the S6 Max V. Notice how the S6 Max V gets closer to the edge, and because of it picks up edge debris much better. In our robot vacuum crevice test, the S5 Max did not perform well on default power or on maximum power. Even after extensive runtime, it still could not pull most of the debris out of the crevice used for this test on either power setting. In our human hair pickup test, the S5 Max picked up all the hair, but most of that hair was not pulled into its dustbin. 70 to 90% of the hair it picked up tangled around its brush roll and had to be cleaned off manually. In our pet hair pickup test, the S5 Max picked up and collected all of the shorter pet hair used for this test in its dustbin. The S5 Max also comes with a mopping attachment, and in our mopping test, it performed very well, cleaning the test surface in under 2 minutes. We tested the S5 Max's cleaning efficiency and coverage in 2 different environments, an empty room and a cluttered room. In our empty room testing, we first see how the S5 Max uses LiDAR to navigate in a very precise row-by-row pattern across the room. Note how the robot moves in vertical rows across the whole room, and then moves again in vertical rows across the whole room. Now, in order to ensure the absolute best chance of the robot being able to pick up stubborn debris in one cleaning cycle, we prefer the crisscross cleaning pattern of robots like the UFG30 over the movement of the S5 Max. However, this is a bit of a nitpick. The S5 Max still gets good redundant coverage in this test. In our cluttered room testing, we again see the same row-by-row cleaning pattern in certain areas of the room, but we also see how the robot moves around different types of obstacles. And here, the S5 Max does very well. It moved freely and easily around all of the obstacles in the room. Particularly impressive is how easily it moved around the table and chair legs. Many random and certain gyroscope robots had a lot of trouble navigating around the chair legs especially, but the S5 Max has no trouble at all navigating around them in this test. It got excellent coverage in this test overall. Other important specifications and test results we considered for this review are summarized here. Note especially that this is a full-fledged mapping robot that has the ability to map multiple floors of your home. And using the Roborock companion app, you can label different parts of the generated map, set the robot to vacuum and or mop specific parts of the map, or set it to stay out of certain parts of the map. In the same chart, also note the S5 Max's runtime, bin volume, and noise output, and how those specifications and test results compare to the average for all the robot vacuums we've tested so far. Lastly, note the robot's diameter and height. These dimensions make the S5 Max one of the larger robot vacuums we've tested. Moving on to what we like and dislike about this vacuum, first let's talk about what we like. The S5 Max picks up most debris types very well on both carpet and hard surfaces. It's also highly effective mopping hard floors. It has excellent coverage and navigates around complex obstacles like chair legs very well. It has great battery life and it runs fairly quietly. Moving on to what we dislike about the S5 Max, it definitely struggles picking up edge debris. It has a fairly small dustbin, especially considering its large size. And speaking of its large size, this is definitely a negative as well, as its large diameter makes it much more likely for the robot to get stuck in between certain types of furniture. And the fact that it's tall makes it much more likely for the robot to get stuck underneath certain types of furniture as well. In terms of general recommendations, the S5 Max really only has one major negative: its lackluster edge performance. Its dustbin is a bit small, but it's not unacceptably small. The robot is wide, but this gives it a wider cleaning path, which allows it to cover more area and clean quicker on a single cleaning run. It is tall, but this is the cost of lighter navigation, which requires a laser to be mounted on top of the robot. In most other aspects, the S5 Max is a very good robot vacuum. The question, then, is whether its lackluster edge performance is a deal breaker. And unfortunately, we think it is. Now, certain users will not notice its below average edge performance. Those users will be very happy with the S5 Max. But for us, its lackluster edge performance is unacceptable. And unfortunately, it's the reason why we generally do not recommend the S5 Max. See the description of this video for a link to the latest updated list of all of the robot vacuums we do recommend, and thank you for watching.